Helene Cixous, The Newly Born Woman, co-authored with Catherine C. Clement, is a text in feminist literary theory that challenges traditional modes of thinking about gender, identity, and writing. Cixous introduces her concept of critica feminina, or feminine writing, a radical mode of textual production that seeks to subvert the phallocentric structures of language and expression that have historically marginalized women. The work engages with psychoanalysis, philosophy, and literary criticism to propose a new paradigm of female subjectivity and textuality. One of the central arguments of The Newly Born Woman is that patriarchal discourse has systematically excluded women from representation and agency. Cixous critiques the binary oppositions that define Western thought, such as man or nature, speech writing, and argues that these hierarchies enforce a logic of oppression. She asserts that women have been cast as the other in the symbolic order, relegated to silence and passivity, while men are positioned as active subjects of meaning making. Through a deconstructive approach, she dismantles these binaries and calls for a liberation of female expression through writing. Cixous' notion of critica feminina is revolutionary because it seeks to create a new language that is fluid, non-linear, and resistant to fixed meaning. She describes it as a mode of writing that originates from the female body and experience, privileging multiplicity, excess, and playfulness over the rigid structures imposed by male-dominated discourse. This mode of writing is not limited to women, but rather represents a way of thinking and being that disrupts phallocentric norms. She encourages women to write themselves, to reclaim their voices, and to produce texts that embody the fluidity and openness of female subjectivity. In the book, Cixous also engages with psychoanalysis, particularly the theories of Sigmund Freud and Jacques Lacan. She critiques Freud's Oedipal model, which situates the father as the primary source of authority and meaning, thereby excluding the mother and female desire from the symbolic order. Lacan's theory of the symbolic as the domain of language and law is also problematic for Cixous, as it maintains the exclusion of the feminine from meaningful discourse. She argues that a truly transformative feminist politics must disrupt these psychoanalytic models and create new ways of understanding female subjectivity outside of patriarchal structures. Another important aspect of The Newly Born Woman is its engagement with the myth of Medusa. Cixous famously declares that woman must write herself, and invokes the image of Medusa to illustrate the transformative power of female expression. Medusa, long demonized in patriarchal mythology as a monstrous figure whose gaze turns men to stone, is reinterpreted by Cixous as a symbol of female power and creative potential. She urges women to reclaim Medusa, to see her as laughing rather than terrifying, and to embrace the liberatory possibilities of a writing that refuses containment and control. Cixous' feminist critique extends beyond language and psychoanalysis to the broader structures of society that perpetuate female oppression. She discusses how institutions such as marriage, family, and the legal system serve to reinforce women's subjugation by upholding male dominance. By exposing these mechanisms of control, she challenges women to resist and rewrite the scripts that have been imposed upon them. She envisions a world where female desire and agency are not constrained by patriarchal norms, but are celebrated and affirmed. Catherine C. Clement's contribution to the book complements Cixous' theoretical approach by exploring the intersections of feminism and psychoanalysis in a more narrative-driven manner. Clement examines the historical and literary representations of women in patriarchal culture, showing how these representations have served to reinforce male authority and female subjugation. She brings in case studies and examples from literature, history, and psychoanalytic theory to demonstrate how women have been confined within limiting stereotypes and how they might break free from these restrictive narratives. Together, Cixous and Clement create a text that is both deeply theoretical and profoundly political. Their work challenges readers to rethink the very foundations of gender and identity, to question the assumptions that have shaped Western thought, and to embrace a more fluid, open-ended mode of expression and being. They do not provide a fixed manifesto for feminist writing, but instead invite readers to engage with the text in a way that is personal and transformative. The book itself is an example of critique féminine in practice, as it resists traditional structures and embraces a more experimental, poetic form of writing. The implications of book extend beyond literary theory into broader discussions of feminism, identity, and social change. Cixous' ideas have influenced generations of feminist thinkers, writers, and activists who seek to challenge the dominant narratives that have excluded and marginalized women. Her call for women to write themselves remains a powerful rallying cry for those who seek to reclaim agency and voice in a world that has often sought to silence them. One of the enduring strengths of book is its insistence on the interconnection of language, power, and gender. Cixous and Clement demonstrate how deeply embedded patriarchal structures are in our ways of thinking and speaking, and they offer a vision of resistance that is rooted in creativity and transformation. Rather than merely critiquing the status quo, they offer a hopeful and empowering perspective that encourages readers to imagine new possibilities for female expression and identity. At the heart of Cixous' argument is the idea that writing is an act of liberation. By embracing the fluidity of language and rejecting the rigid categories imposed by patriarchal discourse, women can begin to articulate their own experiences and desires in ways that have previously been denied to them. The Newly Born Woman is not just a theoretical text, it is a call to action, urging women to break free from the constraints of traditional narratives and to create their own modes of expression